here. All right. So yeah, it's good to see you guys. This is the existence, and I don't know if you guys like how do you like to put the syllables on the word, like the existence or just the existence? Does it matter?
I don't
Um,
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Definitely there's a the in there. So let's remember to have the there. Um, the existence. Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
really think about how it sounds, but I know like the actual writing of it is a little interesting. Like exist is all uppercase and then lowercase for the rest.
Yes. There's the importance piece of that is that exist means it's the notion of living in the moment, like right
Mhm.
now. Not the past, not the present, or not sorry, not the past, not the future, sort of right now. So that's to exist is the most important part, which is now. And
Right.
that's what we're trying to capture in the name.
That's why it's accentuated.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
So I guess I kind of just first want to go into like what is the history of the band? So how did you guys form? About how long have you been together?
hmm well, I'll say a few things, and I want the other members of the band to chime in too. So I don't want to be the only mouthpiece here. But I'll just kick it off. So we've been around for 2.5, 3 years ish, I guess, as a band. I think it was July of 2022 that we officially started with myself, um, our drummer, Curtis, Keegan, our bassist, and Sarah, our lead vocalist. So, yeah, so 3 years, I guess. It's a blink of an eye, it goes very quickly.
Right.
And yeah, anything else to add, folks?
Well, I know the timeline's right. It was definitely June or July.
Oh, right, July, right.
As for like the actual band forming, I mean, a lot of it was just puzzle pieces in the right place at the right time. Um, there's a network that was already established prior, right? And it was from trampoline and tumbling gymnastics. So the, dad, Curtis Dang, um, he happened to drum many years ago, right? And you know, Psalm Bliss just decided to recruit him, but it wasn't until like I think honestly just a couple months later, it was at a competition and I also got asked. Um, and then Sarah's just his neighbor. So it was all a very easy network to connect together in the first place to get the original four started. Yeah.
Okay. So is Son Bliss and am I pronouncing that correctly?
That's great. Yep,
Yeah.
that's correct.
So are you kind of like the epicenter of it that everybody else kind of like joined onto, or was it kind of a more of an equal footing? Not to put pressure on anybody, but I do know that you're the lead songwriter, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Bliss is the ringleader.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Because sometimes in a band, like it depends on the band. Sometimes it's a really equal thing, and everybody, is contributing, and it's a big, like stew, hot pot of like a bunch of different stuff. And sometimes it's kind of one person is like the real, lead songwriter. Are you? I guess I could ask, are you a songwriter just when it comes to lyrics, or like how do you guys form the song? Do you come in with the song fully baked, and then everybody sort of learns the parts, or does it like a jam, or?
I love that question.
Yeah, it's a cool question. But just before I jump into that, I just wanted to reiterate, I might be the songwriter, meaning like I'll put some lyrics and guitar pieces together, but the the band itself, we write together, the collective, like the bass lines, the drum lines, the vocal lines are somewhat there, but Rebecca um, and Sarah will follow sort of the initial vocal lines that were sort of laid down with the original track, but then as time goes on, um, they find their own footing in it as well. So it is a collective, but yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh,
always sprouts from a lyric sheet mixed with the guitar line, and really it is built up from there.
Yeah.
Whether it be me touching it next or whether it be the drummer, like it doesn't really matter. We almost red hot chili peppers it after the initial thing is placed down. So yeah.
Okay, but you get kind of like a skeleton of it, and then sort of it changes a little bit with the bass, with the drums.
Yeah. And it kind of morphs over time too. Not everything stays in there. Things get adjusted all the time. And I mean, the timeline of that can be across like a year, even. These very subtle changes that happen very slowly, and it kind of just sticks over time. So we don't really, gather in a circle or anything for writing down like chord progressions or whatever. It's quite loose.
There actually aren't any chord progressions, which I am ashamed of. All they are lyrics, and I don't even know what chords they are, to be honest, which is really unfair for everyone else when they're used to maybe seeing a song sheet. So it's really by memory, and I challenge everybody, but everyone's been super, super nice. But before we go any further, let's get Rebecca to tell her story about how she joined the band before we move on, if that's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, thanks, Small Bliss. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I do backup vocals, and I work with Small Bliss in the daytime when we're wearing our other hats. And we shared that we both are into music and we're both musical. I shared that I wasn't really I didn't really have a creative outlet and I wasn't really singing at the time. And he asked me for like a year to face my fears again and sing again. And so I said yes. And then there's another member of our band, Braden, that adds percussion flair as well. And similarly, taking advantage of another network, Song Bliss.
Oh yeah, it's just nothing but networking, man.
It's all about the networking.
Absolute spider web.
So Rebecca, like when you said that you didn't sing very much, like, so what brought you into wanting to sing in a band? Did you karaoke? Did you sing in the car?
I did choir when I was really little. My mom is a wonderful singer and played guitar, so we were always singing in my house. And then I was in a choir for like 7 years, and I did voice lessons. Oh, boo boo! Song Bliss's sweet dog in the background.
Sorry, you can hear that.
A good dog.
It's all good. Member of the band, bring it in.
Yes. And then in voice lessons, you literally get judged. You go to competitions and they literally critique your voice, and it really took kind of the fun out of it for me. So I honestly stopped singing for anybody but myself in the car and at home. And so joining a band felt like a safe place to land and start singing again, because you're not alone. You're you're not up there by yourself.
Yeah, the pressure's on everybody.
Yeah, we share the load.
Yeah, and I must say that I was absolutely blown away by Rebecca's voice being so very similar to Sarah, our lead vocalist. Like I was blown away. I was like, whoa, what is happening? Like,
it freaked me out. Yeah.
It was serendipitous on so many levels. Like, how can you ask for something? You ask the universe, if it will, provide, and it did. And I was just like, wow, this thing is going to come together somehow. And it did. And I'm super pleased and happy. But I was going to say that I wasn't a songwriter all my life. I think we all experienced that really tough time with COVID. In our houses, locked down, being really sort of pushed down and pressured to just live small. And it was hard and difficult, and we needed to find our own outlets. I think we all were depressed. I know I was. And I think I went inward, and I was I'd always been interested in lyrics, but I hadn't really landed on the fact that I could write them in prose, like for songs.
Mhm.
I like the idea. I don't read much, actually. I'm not a big reader, but I love stories. I've always been, what do you call it? Like listening to oral stories. I'm all like the radio, I was always big on that. And I think I needed to channel like poems and poetry somehow, and in a sort of in a way that, I don't know, that would satisfy my soul. And so anyways, with COVID happening, and I could always play guitar, but I didn't really make songs that had, a start, middle, and end. They were always these sort of like ongoing sagas of like, one layer upon another layer. And it was James Seabrook at Two Bodies of Water Studios. He's like, Ian, if you want anyone to play in a band with you, you have to start structurally changing your songs.
Mhm.
And I think that was the best advice that I could take. And so I just took that to heart. And I had this music sort of in me, and some of the songs and the riffs are like quite old, like 30 years old. I played in a band when I was in my 20s, so some of those things are carryovers of that time. And then I don't know, I just, midlife crisis, it's like I'm going to do this and make it happen.
Right. And
So
maybe like COVID was that kind of spark that got you to really get out and start, expressing your creativity. Because I think it showed a lot of people that, creativity is a part of life. Going out, seeing bands, seeing things in person, like that's such a big part of life. And when all of that gets shut down, I think people really like figured out that like, oh, I gotta, actually embrace, local theater, music, whatever, right?
yeah. I mean, I value the arts so much. I didn't realize I valued it so much, and that the art of song smithing, if you will, I just love the medium. Like it allows me to have my soul soar, right? I was scared to sing in front of other people. I was actually freaked out to play guitar in front of people.
Mhm.
And, you know, I see this evolution with the rest of the bandmates too, because we all have gone through our own little journeys about how we present ourselves in front of the public. It's not an easy thing. Um, and we're all collectively, supporting one another in kinship. And it's a real lovely thing. Like the strength of a band, it's a very, very tight unit, and
Mhm.
we look out for each other. And I just love that idea too.
So
Yeah, it
when
wouldn't be
you,
possible.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. It wouldn't be possible without that for sure. No, for real. For real, for
Yeah,
real. And
so
even starting out for me, when I was originally on stage, like I was doing church worship, and you're right at the back of the stage. You're the bass player. You're standing in one spot. You're behind a music stand, and you're just playing. And I think the first few shows that we had, I was very similar to that. Just a statue, just an absolute statue. But as you perform, and it took like probably over a year, and you get comfortable with who you're performing with and whatever, it does get easier to start moving on stage or headbanging or whatever it may be. It gets easier to do that for sure.
Mm. And do you think like when you're playing live, you guys kind of like feed off of each other? Like you can kind of feel the energy of everyone else, and so it kind of you can, sort of progress musically like that as well.
Oh, definitely. I think if one person's feeling super in the dumps, it kind of affects the rest of our energy to a degree for sure. Um, yeah, no, definitely.
Hmm. Yeah, it's actually interesting about James Seabrook. My band, we actually recorded with him a couple songs as well, so that's an interesting connection there.
Wow.
He's a really good producer.
Oh yeah.
He knows
Is
his stuff a lot. Like, and I guess that leads me to a question of, so were the songs like? It sounded like maybe he was pushing you a little bit to, change up the songwriting a little bit.
well, the story that I haven't shared quite yet is before the band was formed. Um, I was cutting my teeth on song making, if you will, and my wife of all had asked me if I would create a song for our daughter who's a dancer. So I composed a piece of music that I wanted to have my daughter dance to. So it was in the mindset was a guitar piano duet. And so this was obviously happening in the early days of COVID, and I reached out to my neighbor, that's Sarah, and her family was saying, well, I don't think we have the skill set to write the music that you want as an accompaniment for your piece. And they basically said, we have a cousin who is a virtuoso, who is a violinist, who could probably do it for you. So I just went down that route and sent the music to Seattle, and miraculously, his name's Kyle as well.
Mhm.
He sent it back my way, and it blew me away. And he wrote the music, the score, everything for guitar and for violin. And Sarah, our lead singer, actually played the violin as well. So I ended up hiring her in the summer. I said, I want to do this. I want to take it to a studio. I want to do the whole thing, write it, produce it, record it, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to go through it all. And Sarah said that she would do it. And we stumbled upon James Two Bodies of Water Studios simply because I love the name. And we forged a really interesting relationship. And it was through that piece of music, and it spawned another opportunity after that, to which was some of the I don't know, the catalyst for why the band came together, because James was sort of egging me on. He's like, I'd like to work with you. I'm like, you would? Like, you think I'm that good? Or you would, I didn't believe in myself, but he believed in something there. And so it was through his guidance and his stewardship a little bit to sort of get me on my way and stumble. And to be honest, and to give kudos where kudos is due, he helped me write one of the songs actually in our group of songs for this album, called Half Close Half Near. He wrote the lyrics, but I informed him how I wanted the song to be. I had written the music side, so that was our first sort of kick at this music thing.
And you know what? It's the biggest song we have.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Spotify, we've got over 11,000 streams on it, which is quite nice to have. I mean, it's not making us any money, but it's still quite cool to have, one of your songs take off a bit.
And I'm wondering, how exactly do you think you got those streams? Did you do any advertising? Because you play quite a few shows, right?
We've played shows, but it got onto a playlist over in Finland, and it just got hot over there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just
Okay.
like, Scandinavia loved it for some reason.
Finnish people just love it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the weirdest thing, because every day it was going up like 300 streams.
Even Brooklyn, New York, it was very popular in Brooklyn.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Brooklyn's kind of like an epicenter for indie music, so maybe they have good taste there, I guess.
Well, the drums came out of Brooklyn, I think. Well, New York City, yeah. Brooklyn, I guess, whatever. Kyle, are you still in a band?
I am in a band, yeah. We're kind of going through a name change, but our name right now tentatively is Too Much Lunch. And we recorded with James Seabrook about 4 songs, and now we're doing some recording, and we just changed our name to Diet Luck. So we were kind of, there's a little bit of an issue with the name. Some of the members of the band weren't happy with it, and we figured we were kind of near the beginning enough that we could sort of rebrand ourselves. So
Totally fair.
Yeah, but I'm the drummer in the band.
Yes. I was that's cool. And you're a 4-piece, are you?
Yeah, we're a 4-piece. We've thought about bringing in a synth player at some point, but honestly, our jam space is pretty small, so it's kind of hard to like fit people in there. And we brought in a new guitarist a couple months ago, and we've only played 1 show, but we're hoping this year to be able to go out and play a few more shows and stuff like that. So
very cool. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Do you rehearse at a 3rd space or in someone's house?
No, it's just in someone's house. And like this is the most like professional setup I've ever been in a band, because we have like a mixer and everything and all the headphones and everything, so we can play relatively late. And I have an electronic drum set, so it's like you hear like the clack clack clack. That's like all they would hear, or the muted strings or whatever. But we can play relatively late with that, so it's
That would be
it's nice.
so lovely.
It's just
That's high tech. That's so cool.
yeah, it's just the money,
Oh yeah.
equipment is a little expensive. So, but if you can afford it and if you are willing to spring for it, like it makes it so much easier when everybody's, with the headphones and everything, and you can
Plus,
mix.
you can add a click, and you can adjust everybody's levels. Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, for sure. What kind
Keegan
of?
wants to go that route.
Okay.
I would like to eventually, but it's hard and is expensive, as was mentioned. Yep.
Yeah. What kind of setup do you have? Is it a third space?
We have two spots. Like the room that I'm in right now, this is our backup, music room where we can do sort of like semi-acoustic vocal practice stuff. And then Curtis, our drummer, he's got his drum kit set up in his basement, and it's all soundproofed. He used to be in a band, some years ago, like 15 years ago, kind of thing, and we just bring our gear there, and we set it up, and it's out in Sherwood Parks, and we just kind of on Tuesdays, that's our practice day, and we all head in the vehicle. Sarah gets in the truck with me, Keegan gets in the truck with me, and we head out there, and Rebecca meets us. Typically through the year, it's tough. I mean, Sarah is a full-time student. I work full-time, same with Bex, and same with Keegan. I mean, we all have our own lives to lead. So we pick Tuesdays. It's great when we can all make it, but typically the minimum is 3 and the most is 6. So we do what we can, but when we have recordings coming up or we have some live shows coming up, we're I guess I stress out about getting everyone together, because I end up scheduling everyone as best we can and encourage everyone to get together so that we can, who I want to be ready when we have to do those.
We need this
things kind of
practice
thing.
now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
a bit of
somebody's
a
got to kind of bring everybody
taskmaster.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. But nothing better than a deadline for a band, right?
Yes.
It always
Yeah.
keeps us true, right?
It's true.
Like,
Yes, I love a deadline.
Yeah, I work best with the deadline.
Yeah, you got to be working towards something. If it's just like amorphous, vague future, people might show up, they might not show up. But like, if you've got like, okay, we have a show, you have to show up, you got to practice. Because also, you don't want to be on stage. Like, the worst thing as a musician is to be on stage and like not really know what you're doing. I think with any kind of performance, you have to really know, you have to have it down tight, and then it's a lot better.
mm-hmm. I know we're running close to end of time here, but I just wanted to put a plug in for this year is like 2025. We're finishing up our album. So it's an 11-song studio album. The title of it is Behind Spines and Lifelines. We've got, at this point in time, we have 2 singles out, and we have volume 1 and volume 2 out. So that's a total of 8 songs at this point in time as of March 26, 2025. We're back in the studio in May to finish off 3 more songs, and then that will take us to 11. And so once those 3 are basically mixed, mastered, all that good stuff, we basically have recorded our 11-song album, which is our goal. And we've got booked right now. Our LP album show is going to be in Sherwood Park on October the 12th. So we're going to be playing with the Mark Davis Band opening up for us, and then we're going to play the second half of that evening with Back to Front doing the entire album.
Okay.
So,
and I know you said that, there's a full-time student and people with full-time jobs. So is this something you would tour for, or is it all local within Edmonton?
Yeah, I mean, touring sounds amazing.
Okay.
someone wants to like give us a van and a trailer, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we'd be down.
But I think the logistics are a little bit difficult to sort of figure that all out. I'm not saying that, like, basically up to October, we're trying to get ourselves to October, if I can say that, and then after that, who knows? I mean, maybe we'll do a show in Calgary. Who knows? I mean, we've been asked a couple of times through some friends of mine to say, Calgary would be an interesting place, but I mean, we don't have a following there, so it's kind of like you just show up. It's like, you just might as well be in Edmonton. We like Edmonton. We want to put Edmonton on the map, and everyone that's in the band is Edmontonian, and so our fans and friends, and this is kind of where home and where the art is, and it's kind of a fun feeling. You go to a show and people recognize you and know you. The idea of going to, even though we're recorded and we're on streaming services, I mean, like, it's such a big, massive ocean of up against so much competition. It's like, it's sort of hard to carve yourself out.
Right.
Like that.
And then you end up getting fans over in Finland or Brooklyn, and then they're spread all over the map. So
yeah.
Kind of interesting how that works. But yeah, I don't want to run over time here. So it was really good having you guys. And
thanks for having us. This is awesome.
All the luck in the future with your songs. And I hope the EP gets recorded well. And I hope James does a fantastic job on it.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And Kyle, just reach out if you want to connect, band wise. We'd be more than happy to kind of entertain possibilities, synergies, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate
you guys.
The existence, everybody. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah. Good night.
Bye.